Yeat, also known as, just kidding, we're not here to expose anyone's government, is a new artist who absolutely exploded over the last year and a half. While not only seeming to have some kind of hit no matter what time it was over the last year and a half, Yeat has also built a massive cult fan base that absolutely rides for him. And while yes, right now it looks like every move that Yeat is making is the correct one, and it seems like he literally can't lose, realistically, how long will this last? In today's video, I want to see whether Yeat is on track to be one of the most relevant artists of our generation, or if he will fade into obscurity like many of his other contemporaries. You know take a perk and it's Yeat and his fan base have grown to a level that every upcoming artist can honestly only dream of over the last year and a half, and to many, Yeat's rise to the top of the underground hip-hop scene might have felt like it happened overnight. However, that honestly couldn't be further from the truth. Yeat has stated in interviews, and it can also be seen by doing a little bit of digging yourself, that he has consistently been creating and experimenting with music since 2017. And while yes, it seems like he didn't have a big break until 2021, Yeat actually first started seeing success in around 2018, since that was when Yeat ended up going under the management of Lil Nextel, who actually had some pretty decent industry connections and even worked with X, Ski Mask, and other artists from Members Only back in 2016, while also eventually working with Pop Smoke. Yeah, pretty big names in the music industry. I think the main reason why Yeat didn't take off virally until 2021 though was because he spent many of his early years perfecting his actual sound that we know and love today. You can go and listen to many of his earlier tracks by digging around online. Most of them aren't as good as his current songs, with some earlier songs sounding like they came from a completely different artist. But 2021 was 100% the turning point for Yeat's entire career. His first song to absolutely blow up thanks to the magical powers of TikTok was Sorry About That, with many of his other songs such as Get Busy and multiple songs off the project Up To Me getting their own trends and dances on the app. I also personally think that the main catalyst in Yeat's rise to fame was definitely the fact that he refrained from taking any kind of break and has been dropping very consistently from before he blew up to now. I mean, get this, in just the last 2 years, Yeat has dropped 5 projects, 1 deluxe, and multiple singles on DSPs. He's also already had songs with multiple massive artists like Lil Uzi, Young Thug, Gunna, and possibly even Drake. I know they linked up. He's had multiple collaborations with Cole Bennett on music videos, as well as having some cool collaborations with the pop culture side of things by having his music featured in the popular TV show Euphoria, and a single collaboration with the Despicable Me film series on his song Rich Minion. It's safe to say that for an underground artist, Yeat has done quite a lot already and looks to be set up for success, but is this hype and popularity sustainable for him going into the next couple of years? The answer to that question is honestly much more difficult to figure out than you might think. On one hand, it seems like Yeat literally cannot fail. He's already accomplished so much as an underground artist. It seems like the sky's the limit for him when he finally becomes mainstream. However, on the other hand, if you really think about it, since Yeat is already so known by the majority of hip-hop fans in some capacity, whether it's just straight name recognition or actually knowing some of his songs, why hasn't he become mainstream already? He only has 1 song over 100 million plays on Spotify, with many others creeping up to that number but not there quite yet. And this brings up the question, has Yeat already peaked? How much bigger can he really get if so many people already know his name but he doesn't actually have any multi-platinum hits? So personally, I think we have to tread carefully on this topic, because in my opinion, Yeat is creating a cult following that may potentially rival that of a Uzi, Cardi, or even Kanye. And while he still, in my opinion, doesn't have an absolute massive hit that every person all over the world knows the words to, what he does have is a consistent catalog of mini hits, if you want to call them that, which still performed very well for an artist of his size. It's obvious that he's been making heavy industry connections, the biggest one being Drake. And plus, we cannot forget the fact that Yeat allegedly got a $13 million record deal. And if you know how the music industry works, yeah, that's gonna take a lot of music to pay off. To be fair, in Yeat's case though, I don't think that's gonna be a problem in the music output terms of things, just because of how much he already drops. But what I think the biggest problem, but also blessing that Yeat has, is his sound. I can kind of agree with some of the critics that say that Yeat's current sound and style of music has already somewhat peaked. However, if we learned anything from Yeat's rise over the last 5 years, one thing for sure is that the man is not afraid of experimenting. experimenting. He can easily keep going with this style for another couple of projects if he wanted to, because the crowds that he pulls at festivals and shows, as well as the actual online fan loyalty and presence, is definitely still there. However, I can also see him switching things up in the future and creating music that can elevate him to a whole other level, just because he has already shown, in my opinion, that he's capable of doing that. At the end of the day, I do think that it would be crazy for anyone to say that Yeat will certainly fall off eventually due to the massive amount of things he's already done early on. However, I would also not go out on a limb and say that Yeat is guaranteed to be one of the top artists of this generation over the next couple of years, since literally everything about him is so unique and something that we haven't really witnessed yet in the world of hip-hop. If I had to make a bold prediction though, I would probably say that if Yeat continues his current style and gets lazy or comfortable and just doesn't keep evolving, a plateau is definitely not out of the question, if not imminent. But then again, that's just my personal opinion, and I still do think it's too early to tell exactly whether Yeat will fall off or just continue his rise in popularity. But I want to know your guys' opinion. What do you think about Yeat's future and just the overall direction of his career? Be sure to drop a comment with all your opinions down below. And if you enjoyed the video, do me a favor, drop a like on it and subscribe so you don't miss any future vids. Thank you so much for watching.